Hi everyone. Welcome to the Title IX office's meet and greet. This is our first or more or less virtual event of the semester. Typically every semester we have a Know Your Resource panel where we allow you to meet different resources within the community. But now we're doing it a different way. We still want you to connect with us, and it's just going to be virtually. So this will be recorded. However you see it, we hope that you gain a lot of the knowledge that you need to today. But if you ever have any questions, all these lovely folks will also be have their contact information put in and how you can reach them if need be, as well as emergency services. Getting started, I do want to have a disclaimer that if there is an urgent need of emergency, please dial 911. That is first step, but we do have other entities and resources here that will be able to help you in other circumstances that you have as well. So again, reiterating, the purpose of today is to discuss the resources that you have available to you, as well as give you some tips, how to stay safe, things that you're going through, how we are all staying safe amongst ourselves. But to get started, hi, my name is Zyaijah Nadler. I am the Violence Prevention Education Outreach Coordinator at SUNY Plattsburgh, and thanks for sticking in with us. And I'm just gonna ask everyone else to come along and introduce themselves for today.
Hi.
I don't know if you have an order, but Larry Allen, Director of Student Conduct. Hello, everybody.
Jessica Facteau, Investigator with University Police on the SUNY Plattsburgh campus.
Genie, Denton, Stop Domestic Violence Community Educator.
Bennett, Title IX and Non-Discrimination Investigator for SUNY Plattsburgh.
Mason Derrick, my pronouns are they, them. I'm the Enough is Enough Coordinator with Planned Parenthood Sexual Assault Services.
Yeah, I don't know if we got sound. But hi, everyone. That's Mia Bella. She is the Title IX intern for the office, and we're going to figure out that technical difficulty in just 1 second.
And I am Butterfly Blaise Boire, the Title IX coordinator.
All right, so to start off, our first question of the day is, let's get happy. So what's your favorite part about your job?
I love the interaction with students and getting to know people, hearing their story. A philosophy that I apply to my life is always seeking to understand as much as I can. And so that's something I think I enjoy most, just the one-on-one conversations with people, whether they be students or with colleagues, such as all the people around this virtual table we got here.
To piggyback off of what Larry said was, I like the unique atmosphere of the college campus, especially when it comes to policing. So my favorite part of my job is being able to interact with the students and the faculty and staff in that unique environment.
I enjoy that every day is a different day, and that sometimes I start working with someone and they're going through a really rough patch, and you get to watch the transformation as they go from victim to survivor and thriver.
I like when I'm doing education programs, being able to provide information to students, but seeing that information kind of click into place. So they kind of have some self-reflection going on, and then they share that with peers. That's really nice to see. And also just finding innovative ways to reach students. that maybe haven't been done before?
I like working with all of the different individuals that I get to interact with, including students, and just being a part of a process that is hopefully bringing the best options and resources together for the students that we're working with.
Mia, maybe if you could for now put the answer in the chat and we can say it, or if you want to log in with your phone also and do the audio on there while you do the video on your device. Okay, because we'd love to hear you. So my favorite part, was that the question, Zyaijah? Okay. The favorite part of my job is to be able to connect with people like this, collaborate. I also enjoy that I get to see things moving constantly in a different and more positive direction. So being able to see the culture really shift and change is something that I feel privileged to be part of.
Thank you. So the next question is, how does your job look different during this current time that we're in?
So a lot of my job right now is the same. Today I am home, but typically I am in the office. Our station is still open 24 hours, 7 days a week. We still have staff, we still have officers responding to calls. We do, it is different in the sense of what we look like right now. We have a modified uniform. Also, we're wearing personal protective equipment that people probably aren't typically used to seeing us wear. Some folks are wearing glasses and masks when they respond to every call. Some are also just wearing that in general when they're in their vehicles or when they're walking around. My job looks a little different in the sense that I have student interns. So that's a very difficult task right now to try to manage, since all of our job is very hands-on when it comes to our interns. So we're doing the best we can right now. Thankfully, Zyaijah helped us out in this last week to kind of put together a video to, keep our students active and to kind of also say that they're here for everyone in the community, especially their peers and other students. So that looks a lot different because we're doing it in this kind of format. We're meeting online, but as far as our day-to-day operations, we're still active. We're still conducting investigations. It just is a lot more over the phone and less in person or in open spaces. So in general, there really hasn't been that big of a change in my world other than the small amount of people on campus.
And so I'd echo what Jess just shared. With that, with a fewer number of people on campus, that means that the number of students referred to our office is going to decrease, of course. But having to turn a highly sensitive, confidential process into a virtual one has had some challenges, of course, but we are still moving forward with cases virtually through email predominantly. And should we encounter the need to pursue a hearing formally through a virtual process, we will navigate that as it comes. But for the most part, as I already said, one of the things I like most about my job is interacting with students and having those conversations. And so that has been largely removed from our process given the circumstances. So that is, well, a bummer from my perspective anyway.
Life at Stop Domestic Violence has changed a little. We are no longer able to physically go to our offices to access the files that we have there or to meet in person with clients on site there. But we are still open 24 hours a day and available to anyone in the tri-county area of Essex, Clinton, and Franklin County. They need simply call us, but now instead of us answering the phone, they make a decision when they dial that number whether they want to leave a message, and then they can leave a message and it's emailed to all staff, and then the appropriate staff member will contact them, or they can press a different button to be connected with whoever's on call at that moment. And so they encounter a little wait, and then they were put together with the person who's on call. We are limiting as much as possible our in-person transactions. But if we need to go out and meet someone in the community, again, we will have our protective equipment, gear on, and those sorts of screening questions that we ask before we meet with the person. It's important for everyone to know, though, that we're still providing services like typing up orders of protection. The court is open, but they're accepting this information electronically. So we work with the person on the phone to type up the document, and then we submit it electronically. Depending on which way we choose to do it, sometimes the client needs to still go to the courthouse to just sign in front of the clerk and present their ID. And then, but the format has changed. You're not waiting to see a judge and to talk with the judge. They just take the written document and are making a temporary ruling based on that. But we are still able to perform that task and provide all of our other services, including temporary short-term housing for someone who might need a safe place to stay.
For me, I'm not able to do supportive counseling in person right now. Our other counselors who are in the grade schools are in the same position, but we're able to provide supportive counseling by email, phone call, or Zoom, Blue Jeans, whatever video conference medium there is. Our hotline is still active and working, so people can still call and get support through that. We're not able to do in-person accompaniments to the hospital, but if someone's comfortable and would like support still, we could potentially provide support over the phone. And then as far as my position specifically, I'm not able to go to classrooms and do education the way that I was, or go on campuses. So I've had to figure out how to virtually engage with students to still provide education programming. So that's been interesting, but also kind of fun. Yeah.
So I second what Larry said. It's a bummer not to be able to be interacting with students and things like that, but we're just able to do pretty much what we are able to do on campus, but remotely with, as Mason said, video conferencing, things like that for any of the procedures or processes we might run or that might come up, and doing a lot of learning about how to navigate everything in this current environment, or this current climate that we're dealing with. So it pretty much everything is normal, just remote, and feels very different because of that. Even though it shouldn't maybe feel so different, it does feel very different.
So I don't think that my experience is much different than anyone else who's spoke so far, in terms of the fact that we are offering all the services still remotely. On top of that, I guess what would make it a little bit more interesting is we're trying to find ways to bridge the gaps of communication because we can't meet people face to face. So we are spending a lot of time on Zoom meetings and staring into our cameras and recording videos for our YouTube channel. Additionally, my current office mates aren't as collaborative or calm as my office mates on campus. So that creates a little bit of a barrier too, but do get to spend the day with puppies running around. So that's nice.
Thank you. So what is a common misconception that people may have about your office that you can kind of talk a little bit about briefly? And everyone doesn't have to answer. You can just answer if you feel compelled.
I'd have to say a common misconception about our office is that we don't care. You know, we hear that quite often when we're responding to an incident or someone we take in a walk-in complaint. It doesn't necessarily come out in the words of you don't care, but it comes out in throughout the conversation in different ways. But I would say that's the biggest misconception because all of us who work at University Police, given its unique environment, we all chose to be there for the specific reason of the fact that we get to work with students, that we do care, that really we chose to be there for that specific reason, so that we could help folks who may need a little extra help navigating through what they're going through or just in life in general. So I would say that as difficult as it is to hear, I can understand some of it just given that we are police. But it is the biggest misconception that I can think of because we all do care very much. We try to show that in these kind of platforms, as well as being involved in different, whatever way we can on campus through events or just collaborative efforts with other departments on campus. So we are trying to kind of make our way, through the opposite way, but it is something that we'll continue to work on and that will continue to need work on.
Hi there. I think there are a couple of misconceptions at STOP. One of them is that people sometimes contact us thinking that we are going to tell them what they have to do. That's not our job. Our job is to believe them and to support them and to provide choices. So we can tell you various things that you can choose to do, and then it's up to the individual, and whatever choice they make, we support. And then what kind of piggybacks with that is so often I see sometimes a client who feels that maybe an advocate spent a lot of time helping them and then they re-engage with the party that was making them feel unsafe, and they fear that we're going to judge them for that. And that's totally not true. We know that it takes on average 7 times for someone to get out of an unhealthy relationship. And so they've never burnt their bridge. They can call us anytime. It doesn't matter if we help them, 1 time, 10 times, or if they keep going back, we still just only care that they're safe and that we can revisit what their choices are at that time.
The first that I can think of is that I think people believe that our office investigates or even refers students or is a part of the referral process in terms of generating one, where our office is the last stop, if you will, in the process. And so we only adjudicate that which has been referred to our office. And so some sort of report has to have been made, whether that be to University Police, Title IX, could be made through residence life or community living. And then once that gets referred to our office, that's when we take it and adjudicate it based on all the information sent to us. And whether that's done through an administrative process or a student board process, that's how it would play out. So I think that's something that a lot of students, and maybe even some professionals on campus don't realize that that's our role versus part of the investigation.
And I think kind of the flip side of that, a lot of people have the misconception that we do what Larry's office actually does, in that I think there's sometimes a misconception that the minute that you report Title IX, something to Title IX, that Title IX's office takes the report, makes a determination, and then decides whether or not someone should be held accountable. And we're just really one piece of a much bigger puzzle. And there are a lot of different people that would engage in that process, depending on depending on what the person reporting decides to do.
Thank you. So I'm just gonna ask my interns to join in here in terms of kind of explaining what their role on campus is and highlighting what they enjoy about their role on campus. Miles, if you'd like, you can start.
Hello. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm having like difficulty with everything.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Arlene. So what we're doing right now is actually, you came in at the perfect time. So we're just allowing the interns to kind of discuss what their experience has been and what their role is on campus. So Mia was just starting us off.
Well, I'm trying. I still don't. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm going from my phone and my camera on my laptop. I don't know what's going on. So my name is Bella Santana. I am a Title IX intern, and I'm a peer educator for the office.
Yarlene.
Can you guys hear me? Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Yarlene Rodriguez. I am currently one of the interns for Title IX, and I am the social media person. Is there anything else that I should be answering?
The highlight, what your experience has been, and just highlight.
Oh, okay. Well, so far, my experience with Title IX, it's been good. I feel like I've been learning a lot, not only about myself, but also about like what Title IX does on campus and how Title IX conducts itself. I've also gotten the opportunity to get closer to people, such as like the other interns, Zyaijah herself, and just work more on hands on stuff that I've been passionate about in the past, but I've never been motivated enough to do something about it until now. Um, it just sucks that I'm limited now because of the crisis that we're going through. But I'm still trying to make the best of it, and I've noticed that even though we're doing it remotely, I'm still learning new things because it's a new experience regardless of what's happening. And yeah.
Sorry, I have to add that I am also learning. This is my second semester with Title IX, and I feel like I'm still learning resources available to both me and everyone on and off campus. And I'm just learning about other people's experiences and becoming more objective to everyone's story, and I'm really grateful for that because this internship has provided me with so many opportunities to learn and grow as both a student and as a person.
So as students, what do you feel like is one element, you can say one thing, is important for someone to know about the work that all of us on this call does, as well as the work that you all do as students too?
I'll go. For me, I feel like it's important for students to realize that the work that other students do as interns on campus and just like faculties overall, is not only like it is professional, but it's also like a different connection. Like it's a passion of ours, that it's not something that we do because we have to do it, but more like we do it because we're also passionate about our work, which is the main reason we even signed up for it in the first place. So I feel like it's important to also to not only have that professional aspect of it, but just have that emotional connection with it.
Um, just to go off what Yarlene just said, I think people forget that y'all are humans and not robots. And even though this is your job, you have other obligations as well within your job, and that not everybody is aware of. So I think that's important for students to understand that, like Yarlene said, this is a passion, but it's also, it's not easy. And it's not, if it was easy, it'd be totally different conversation. So I think that's important for students to realize. And even I've realized that myself, that, not everything is black and white and easy, or I don't know another word, but it's important to realize that y'all are human and you all are going through your own things as well. And I think with the passion and that connection that Yarlene said, it takes a toll on a person. I know I've been going through it just from hearing people's stories and trying to help where I can. That's a lot to take, and I think people kind of take that for granted in y'all, and or don't even think about that aspect. So yeah.
So Miles is our other intern who's on the call, and he's experiencing technical difficulties as well. So I've asked him to text me the answer, so I'm just going to read it. So he said that his experience has been great in his past 3 years volunteering and interning through the Title IX office. He's had the ability to debunk different facts and myths. Well, myths, not facts. We can't debunk facts. Debunk different myths that he learned and heard a lot, whether it was about the investigation process, our office in general, and just his ability to now teach people more in depth about consent and being able to have these conversations. So it's definitely an experience and a highlight that he's had. So in talking about highlights, what has been all of your highlights, aside from our interns who've shared theirs? What have been some highlights that you all have experienced in your roles?
A big highlight for me has been, the collaborative efforts like this, but also to kind of go off of what Mia was saying about the students and having folks recognize that we are humans. For me, the biggest highlight has been that interaction with people, that to be able to show that you can relate outside of just your professional job. That's been the biggest highlight for me, has been just being able to really guide and help mentor students through their life in whatever way that is. That's looked like a couple different things for me, as bizarre as it might sound. Some folks that have had maybe not the best experience with me, meaning they were on the other side of the law, folks that I have had to arrest, but have gained knowledge and experience in helping people through what that process is, come back and thank me, be able to help folks in that way without, dropping the hammer or just doing my job per se to make an arrest, but to be able to really guide an individual through what that process looks like. But then to work with my student employees and my student interns. We started with 2 and now we have 6, and it's just been really amazing for me. It's been a growing experience for myself just to recognize the differences in everyone, and really help me grow as a person, because being from Plattsburgh, working in Plattsburgh, you're limited in what to be the truth about what other folks go through. So it's been a highlight for me to really be able to go into those parts of my interns' lives and really get to learn from them, while hoping to really give them some learning experience too in it. But the biggest highlight for me has been that growth for myself and for our department, to see the different backgrounds of folks and the diverse population that we don't really see in our department. So for me, that's been really the biggest highlight.
I think I have 2 that come to mind that are probably very similar to what just shared. One, having students who, whether it's because they might have interest down the road professionally, or because they already know that they do have interest, and that is students who are whether undergraduate or graduate that want to intern in my office. And that's like one of the things I enjoy most about my job, is working with those students and helping them to discover for themselves their approach to the work, and to that's whether or not they want to even do that work down the road. Either they find out this is not for me, but I've learned a lot from this process, or they've learned that they found a new passion that they didn't realize existed at first. So helping students figure that stuff out for themselves and watching those light bulbs go off is a remarkable experience. And so maybe one of the individuals on this call might have something similar happen next year. You know who I'm talking about, right? The other thing is the students who I see the most in my office most consistently are often for those low-level ticky-tack kind of violations, like in the presence of alcohol or something like that. And so students who might take a little bit longer to kind of figure that out and figure themselves out, I get to develop a relationship with those students. And it's great seeing at some point, again, the light bulb going off and them figuring out how to make better choices and figure out what their priorities are and how that aligns with what they're doing or what they're not doing. And then seeing them walk across the stage 4 years down the road. So I think those 2 are highlights for me.
Some of my highlights have been when I receive feedback, whether that be from students who maybe I presented to. I know I had this unique opportunity recently at the SUNY campus where I was supposed to come be a guest speaker one day, and now the classroom was closed. And instead I created a program for them online and a PowerPoint. And unexpected to me, I received 6 different emails from different students just letting me know what they thought of it and giving feedback, and that was great. And then those moments when you have a victim and they blossom and they take a moment to just let you know how their life has changed, it's really fulfilling to hear that.
All right. So we have 2 more questions. I'm going to ask one, and then Yarlene's going to ask the other. So the first one is, what is the best way for individuals to connect with you right now at this time? Really just reiterating that. How can people reach you if they need you?
So the best way right now would be through email, which is title.ix@plattsburgh.edu.
The question that I have is that how has your agency been working towards being more intersectional and inclusive?
We're going to ask that one right after this one. So give us 1 second, we'll come back to that one.
Okay.
Genie, you can go, and then Larry, I saw you next. Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. So to get a hold of us, one need only dial 518-563-6904, or that same number works and you replace the 518 with an 888-563-6904. The only difference being that in answering services, you're going to get a recording and you're either going to leave a message and that message gets emailed to us and then we call you back, or you can put yourself on hold and opt to choose to talk with somebody, and you just have to wait a little bit until the answering service connects the call to the on-call. Or we do have, if you don't need immediate assistance, you can email us, and there's a generic email. It's stopdv@bhsn.org. And again, that's not for if you're in immediate crisis, because that's not monitored 24 hours a day, but then you can leave us an email and the appropriate person would get back to you. And again, that's stopdv@bhsn.org.
And for me, and probably many others, the best way is through email at this time. Normally I'd say come by the office, pop in, come say hi. That's what I prefer, but student conduct at Plattsburgh, or conduct at plattsburgh.edu, student conduct at Plattsburgh. And was that anything else? Oh, you can also email me directly, but I'll add that right now. You can find me on the website.
Jess, and then Mason.
Best way to get in contact with the University Police right now, like I said, we're still open 24 hours, 7 days a week. However, through dispatch, so 518-564-2022 would be the best way to get in touch with us, and a dispatcher can either put you in touch with an officer over the phone, an investigator, or we can come to you depending on your location. But best right now is 518-564-2022.
Like everyone, the best way to contact me is email, dierich@ppncny.org. And our hotline, like I said previously, is also available at 1-877-212-2323.
And don't worry, folks, if you missed any of that contact information, it will be attached to this video in the thing. So Yarlene's now going to ask her question, and then I have one last one to wrap us up.
Okay, I got too excited earlier. So my question is, how has your agency been working towards being more intersectional and inclusive on campus?
So I would say that our office from the start in 2015 tries to work individually and then across the systems from an intersectional perspective. So what that means for us is serving individuals based on a holistic trauma-informed approach and looking at the totality of their identity across those different intersections of how they, can you hear that in the background right now? I'm so sorry. So maybe Zyaijah could pick up from here on that part, and I'm gonna mute.
We got this. Okay. So yeah, our office really, as Butterfly said, since 2015 has been working really diligently to bridge different gaps. We're always attending different webinars, learning as much as a lot of webinars, even more so during this time when everything is virtual. We attend a lot of webinars that range from different identities from anyone that we may be encountering, which is a lot of different people. So we really want to know what kind of trauma they may be facing, what are some different things and how their identity may also impact that trauma, because that's going to matter when we're working with people and providing resources to them. We also remain frequently in contact with them and always ensure ourselves that if we can't find the answer for you, you may get in contact with one of these people who you are seeing here to make sure that we are finding you what you need at any point in time. And I think that's where Butterfly would have ended off. So Jess is gonna pick it up.
Does so a lot of the way through training, making sure that our officers are thoroughly trained on trauma-informed techniques, as well as they are aware of the resources that exist both on and off campus, and to make sure that we're staying on top of the changes and what those look like, meaning whether it's location or phone numbers or contacts. And then just really, like I had said before about our students, was being able to approach every situation with an open mind, given that every situation is different. So being able to kind of navigate through the differences of one another, and that comes through experience and continued collaboration with folks like everyone on this call, and also through education, however that may look.
I mean, I really don't have much to add other than what Jess, Butterfly, and Zyaijah already said. It's collaborating, constant training, and various opportunities to do so. And then I would say, kind of going back to my initial thing that I love about what I do, is just taking each person as they are, as they come, and interacting with them and seeking to understand, and then going from there through the process, through the conduct process. And so that's, I think, how I can best answer that question.
Well, I don't work at SUNY. I'm an off-campus resource. I will echo the same things that Butterfly and Zyaijah said. We do, we're really kind of diligent and intentional with our wording, our programming, and making sure that not only everyone's included, but everyone's represented when we're doing education programs or even just posting on social media. And we also offer a lot of gender inclusive services just at Planned Parenthood, transgender health care services. So we make it a point to serve all people and be aware that identities intersect, and kind of make it a point to be aware of that.
And then one other thing that I can most likely say on behalf of everyone, it's really important that we continue to look at the policies that we put in place. And that's something that all of our office continues to do, is to evaluate policies to make sure that there's not implicit bias hiding within them, to make sure that we're doing the work to be, as you said, intersectional and as inclusive as possible. So policy change, also very important, also something we each highlight within our meetings, and asking questions how we see best fits. So our last question, we have a lot of people or just people in general who are probably going through a tough time right now. Some of you are also potentially experiencing a tough time. So we just wanted to share some words of encouragement. If you had to tell someone something. They don't have to be a victim or survivor per se in this moment, but just living right now in these really awkward times, what would be your words of encouragement that you would share?
I would say that you're not alone, and that we always have been told to really give measure to the small things in life. But I think now more than ever, making sure that we take a moment to just reflect on the small victories or the small joys, and lifting those up can lift our spirits.
Jess, and then Autumn.
I'm also going to kind of go off of what was just said in regards to the small victories. I think a lot of time is on a lot of people's hands right now, and just before time gets away from us all, just living in that moment and taking the time to just kind of make sure you're taking care of yourself. It seems for me like time is going by very fast, even though you would think it to be the opposite. But just being present in a moment and reminding yourself that whatever you're feeling at this time is okay to feel. There's a lot of uncertainties. It's a very fluid time for all, and we're all going through it together. It might look different, but we're all in this together, and in the end, we're going to come out stronger for it. So just reminding yourself that there'll be a light at the end of the tunnel, and just in the meantime, make sure to recognize the small victories, like was said before me, and just take time for yourself and to, just live right now and stay healthy and wear your PPE.
I would say none of us were prepared for any of this, and none of us really, had a plan or knew what to do from the start. So we're all doing the best we can. And I think that's all anybody can do. And just being okay with that in and of itself, being okay with yourself and whatever you're able to manage at this time, and to look for silver linings, like things that are happening that maybe are a benefit to you right now, like being able to be with loved ones more, or I got to see my daughter crawl for the first time yesterday, and that was something I probably would have missed if she was in daycare and I was at work every day. So it's, taking those moments that are that wouldn't be happening if we all weren't in this situation, and just looking at that as a bright side of things, even though things don't look very bright sometimes. There, you can hopefully find something like that in your days.
Larry, Mia, then Mason.
This is something I would often say, but I think it's even more so relevant now, is just finding your balance, staying grounded, finding your own rhythm. So with everything flipping upside down a month ago, everybody kind of had that rug pulled out. So now I'm hoping people are finding a bit more of a rhythm to their day and to their work and their life. I also, I think for myself, with how much I think I took for granted a lot of the interactions I had with people on a day-to-day basis, and therefore didn't put the effort in outside of those things. And so now, because I don't get to see all the people I enjoy interacting with on a daily basis, it's forcing me, who's a hardcore introvert, to reach out through means like this and have connections with people. I've talked to more people in the past week through Zoom and through FaceTime than people I haven't talked to in years, just because it's like trying to stay connected, leaning on each other, rekindling those friendships and those connections, and spreading the love with each other, with our loved ones, even the ones we don't really like that much, still spread the love. But also, I don't know if anybody, I'm a big fan of The Office, the show The Office. I'm a late comer to the show. It's a fantastic show. But John Krasinski, something he's doing, I see a couple head nodding, some good news. And so in a time where everything is so grim, at least a lot of what the media is talking about is so grim, is finding the little victories, kind of going back to what Genie and Jess are talking about, but spreading the good news and talking about just all the really lovely, wonderful ways in which humans are being awesome to each other is a pretty cool thing to celebrate.
So she sent me what she would have said. So Mia says, it's important not only to do your work, but also things that relieve stress, because you need to balance yourself out, and just know that it is okay to not have everything together right now, but do not let that discourage you. Mason, you can go.
I would say one of the big things I'm reminding myself of daily, not punishing yourself for needing an extra couple minutes, or even just needing an afternoon nap. Not something I would normally want to do or need, but some days I just kind of do, and it's okay. And not punishing yourself for maybe not being as productive as you feel you should be, or thinking you need to learn a new language or learn to play an instrument, like so many memes and tweets are going around saying you should be doing during all of this. Don't punish yourself for not doing that. Take the time to just take care of yourself and your family, or whoever you happen to be with at this time. Yeah, don't punish yourself.
I'm going to try to talk again before it gets too loud here, and I can't guarantee that. So I might need to go quickly or send it in a message. So I guess what's working for me is I require some level of structure. So the only thing I'm really holding myself to firmly each day is getting up at the same time, which has been nice for me because it still lends some consistency. I created a gym at my house. That's been good for stress relief. And I'm going out on some solo walks with the puppies, and that's good. I like to play board games. No one will play with me. So if you are lucky enough to have people in your home who will play with you, I would encourage you to do so. I think that that's a good thing. The other thing I would encourage people to do is to take advantage of free resources that are available right now that normally are not available. Aside from the fact that everybody is experiencing different things during this time, but collectively really experiencing this pandemic at the same time, it probably for some people is bringing up some old trauma that is compounded by this. And the barrier to getting that support previously might have been not having insurance or not having access to healthcare, or even right now with telehealth, you don't pay copays. The copays are sometimes too much with that type of thing. So I would really encourage people to look at that and see what services are available and engage in that type of self-care. And additionally, what I'm doing, and again, this is me, it might not work for everyone, is I'm realizing I don't need as many things or events or tasks in my life. So part of my day today is really kind of just doing that self-evaluation of what I will bring back into my life to take up space after this is all over. And it's not going to be everything.
Miles, did you want to say anything, or Arlene?
For me, everybody pretty much hit the point. Hello, everybody. Welcome. For me, it's just been finding some sort of light at the end of the tunnel. At first, it was kind of hard, but like I got some good news from back home, and that little bit of news, although it might not be that big, was able to get me out of a dark place and put me back in a great path. So I guess finding the small light in anything, or something as small,
For me, it's pretty much been like just realizing that even though now everything is virtual and everything is from home, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to feel guilty for not maybe developing a new skill, losing weight, changing your diet. Um, Even though for some people those things do help them get through it, for other people it doesn't. Like other people may just need to sit down with their cat and watch Netflix, and that's perfectly fine. It's okay to live with that. Like you shouldn't feel guilty for that. So that's something that I've had to learn, and that's a new tip that I'm giving out to everybody else. Like don't shame yourself for things that your body may need, like sleep. You shouldn't feel guilty for stuff like that.
So, and with that, that wraps up our meet and greet. We'd like to thank all of you for watching. Thank you for sitting through the bloopers and everything that came with it. I hope you truly see our personality shine. So thank you again, and we hope that you have a great time and great rest of the season.